Good morning, venture capital. This is Metagame, and today's episode is about how one tiny state cracked the code on corporate law and transformed the simple act of business registration into a $33 billion empire that dominates American commerce. Delaware just posted $33 billion across 95 deals. And I'm here to tell you that most of it is fiction, not fraud. Fiction. A story we tell ourselves because we don't clean our data. See, when you pull Form D filings and see Wilmington, Delaware, or Dover, Delaware, your brain does something dangerous. It pattern matches. It says, East Coast capital is surging, as it says, Delaware's having a moment. And then you build your entire regional deployment thesis on top of a lie. Because here's what's actually happening. Those Delaware addresses, they're not company headquarters, they're registered agent offices, they're legal mailboxes. Corporation Trust Center at 1209. Orange Street in Wilmington has processed more venture paperwork than most accelerators have seen in a decade. And Dover? Dover logged 32 deals this quarter. You know what's in Dover? Registered agent factories, not startups, not innovation hubs, mailboxes. The Incorporation arbitrage play is alive, well, and apparently invisible to anyone not paying attention. Let me give you the real breakdown. Wilmington captured $20.1 billion across 40 deals. Sounds impressive until you realize that includes a $15.2 billion filing from Sanford C. Bernstein, Delaware Business Trust. That's a pooled investment fund using Delaware for its legal framework. The actual investment decisions, made in New York, the portfolio allocation, happening elsewhere. Delaware just collected the filing fee and said, thank you very much. Same pattern everywhere. X.AI raised $5.3 billion, filed in Delaware, operating in Palo Alto. Databricks logged $4.1 billion in Q4, plus another $955 million in Q3. Delaware entity, San Francisco operations. Genesis Cloud Services hit $1.5 billion twice. Menlo Park Company. Delaware paperwork. You're seeing the theme. The 41.8% year-over-year increase in Delaware deal count isn't an East Coast venture renaissance. It's more legal entities, more SPVs, more continuation funds, more PE vehicles using Delaware's 200 years of corporate case law as liability insurance. The state's value proposition isn't economic activity, it's legal infrastructure. And if you're benchmarking regional capital flows without separating incorporation state from headquarters state, your analysis is worthless. Now here's where it gets interesting. Delaware knows this. They know their entire business model depends on being the default jurisdiction for corporate America, and they're concerned about losing it. Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai. February 27th, 2026. Delaware Supreme Court unanimously upholds SB 21. That's the state's legislative defense against what insiders are calling Dixit. Companies moving to Texas, companies looking at Nevada, companies treating their legal domicile like a strategic variable instead of a back-office checkbox. ExxonMobil has a shareholder vote scheduled for May 27th to re-domicile to Texas. ExxonMobil, one of the largest companies on Earth, is actively considering leaving Delaware. Tesla already did it in 2024. And when megacaps start treating incorporation jurisdiction as a competitive lever, you better believe the growth stage companies in your portfolio are watching. SB 21 was Delaware's counterpunch. Tightened Section 144 safe harbors for conflicted transactions. Revised Section 220 books and records rules to give boards more predictability. The message to corporate America: stay with us, we'll protect your directors. The message to VCs: Delaware's moat isn't natural, it's defended. And defended moats can be breached. So what does this mean for your portfolio? First, your deal flow CRM needs a new field. Legal domicile versus economic domicile. If you're running reports that show Delaware 30% of deals and using that to justify East Coast allocation, you're making decisions based on legal paperwork, not economic reality. Clean the data, separate the signal from the incorporation noise. You'll find California deal count looks very different when you remove the Delaware entity wrappers. Second, your own fund structure matters more than you think. Delaware is the default for LP familiarity, predictable GP-LP dispute resolution, specialized court of chancery that actually understands preferred stock rights and drag-along provisions. But Delaware's franchise tax is revenue-based and can hit six figures for large funds. If you're raising from family offices or sovereign wealth sensitive to disclosure rules, Nevada or Cayman structures might offer advantages you're leaving on the table. Third, and this is the opportunity hiding in plain sight, incorporation jurisdiction is becoming a value-add service. If you're a growth stage fund writing $50 million checks, you can differentiate by guiding portfolio companies through proactive reincorporation, pre-IPO flip from LLC to Delaware C Corp, board governance tuning, registered agent consolidation, franchise tax optimization. Every late-stage fund is competing on capital and connections, the ones that package legal ops diligence into their platform offering. They're playing a different game. Fourth, if you're a Texas-based fund, you have an arbitrage opportunity that didn't exist 2 years ago. Texas stood up specialized business courts in late 2024, early 2025. The case law is thin, but building. The franchise tax burden is lower. You can pitch portfolio companies on jurisdiction optimization as part of your value proposition. You're not just capital, you're a governance partner. Delaware's SB 21 ruling slows Dexit, but doesn't stop it. Companies will still evaluate the arbitrage, especially as Texas courts build track records.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
Now let's connect this to the bigger picture. The $202 billion global AI funding surge everyone's talking about? Delaware's AI exposure is derivative. The state captures incorporation fees from AI companies that operate elsewhere. X.AI, Databricks, Grammarly's $672 million, Superhuman's $322 million, Ambience Healthcare's $140 million, all filed in Delaware, all operating in California, New York, Miami. The AI boom is geographically distributed but legally centralized. Every new $100 million AI fund incorporated in Delaware shows up as a Delaware deal, even when the GP is in Menlo Park and the portfolio companies are in Seattle, Austin, and Tel Aviv. KPMG's Q4 enterprise data says 26% of companies have deployed AI agents. Average AI budget is $124 million. 67% consider AI investments recession-proof. None of that translates to Delaware economic activity. It translates to more Delaware entity formations, more SPVs, more co-investment vehicles, more holding companies, same dollars, more legal wrappers. So let me close the loop on where we started. Delaware's $33 billion quarter isn't a capital deployment story. It's a legal services story. The 41.8% deal count growth isn't venture velocity. It's incorporation arbitrage working exactly as designed. And if you're building your market thesis on raw Delaware numbers, you're not analyzing the venture market. You're analyzing the registered agent industry. The firms that separate legal domicile from economic domicile in their data, they see the real patterns. They know California is surging when the numbers say Delaware is surging. They know Texas is becoming a legitimate alternative when everyone else thinks Delaware is unassailable. They know that jurisdiction is no longer a back-office checkbox. It's a value driver, a risk vector, a competitive differentiator. Delaware posted $33 billion and 95 deals. Most of it is fiction. The question is whether you're reading the story or writing your own. That's our Venture Capital podcast for today. If you learned something new, tap 5 stars and follow our show. Thank you for listening to Metagame.
Grep News. Thomas.